One of the real gifts of growing up in the house I grew up in was my dad's belief that community service was the rent we pay to live in this world. And that passion is the same passion that guides me today in Battlefield Reclamation, and it's the same passion in another sense that drives me in trying to create a bourbon that had a purpose, that funding from this bourbon goes into Battlefield Reclamation, that somehow it's all tied together in what I'm trying to do in my life. Yes, I want to produce a really great bourbon, but more importantly, I want to do something for my community and for my nation. There are a lot of great bourbons in this world. I personally know this. One of my commitments to Battlefield Bourbon was that it be made here in Tennessee, that it be true Tennessee bourbon, truly good bourbon, that it really be something that I could be proud of. And I'm very fortunate because we have just that. The Civil War is in every way the single most important moment in our nation's history. It was in the death of those 750,000 plus men and boys that we stopped simply being Georgians and New Yorkers, Tennesseans and Californians, but that we became Americans. And this land where that happened, where that was wrestled out, this land becomes truly, truly sacred. It wasn't my goal to do any of this. My goal was simply to live in a small town near Nashville, but I found out that it needed to be my goal. Franklin literally in the last 15 years has gone from the worst example of battlefield preservation in America to being the poster child for the preservation and reclamation of battlefields. Really specialness of Battlefield Bourbon is that the water comes from springs, from battlefields. The first year from Franklin, this year from Shiloh. It's such a powerful thought that the spring water, which you have to have to make a great bourbon, actually flowed from battlefields where all this happened, where history was made. My first and foremost hope with Battlefield Bourbon is that obviously it is able to generate money for Battlefield Reclamation, but it goes beyond that. I also want to generate awareness of what's happening, of how short a time we have to settle the issue about every square acre that was used during the American Civil War. But there's something else. I want people to drink the bourbon. I'm sad when someone tells me, oh, I bought a bottle and I have it on my shelf because I want people to see it. I want them to savor the taste of a really fine, very small batch bourbon. And that's very important that people make that connection of this incredible bourbon and at the same time this incredible cause. It's really a great bourbon, and I could not be more excited. One of the great joys of producing your own bourbon is producing your own bourbon bottle. And I would explain exactly what I wanted, this shape of the bottle and how I wanted it to be. And one of my best friends came to me one night over a few glasses of bourbon, and he said, "You're missing something." And I said, "What?" And he said, "A motto. It should be lest we forget." Now, those three words are found on Civil War monument from Portland, Maine to literally Miami, Florida, lest we forget. And so it's now burned into the wooden caps of every bottle of Battlefield Bourbon. Those three words forever reminding us that as long as we're sober enough to remember. We won't forget.